Every day you have the opportunity to say the one thing that will change your life. I not only believe that and use that every single day, so do millions of people who accept a reality that I am going to expose and introduce you to today. What stops you in business is resistance. And resistance might seem like a, no, I don't want to talk to you. No, I already have one. No, I don't need any more. And that's the overt resistance, right? That's other people. There's another level of resistance that I want to introduce you to. So, if to the best of your ability, shake hands with yourself. Okay. So this is the you have now met the number one source of resistance in your life. And that would be what I call your ocean of negativity. And your ocean of negativity started when you were very, very small, and you were maybe about to leave the house, or maybe you were in the car with your parents or grandparents, and you had just had breakfast and you had just gone to the bathroom, and you were just a little way out, and all of a sudden you said, I'm hungry. And your parents said, you can't be hungry. We just ate. I have to go to the bathroom. You can't have gone to the bathroom. Need to go. We just left the house. Now multiply this by about 1,000 times before you're 18, and you have heard the word no about 1,000 times more than you've heard your own name. You've heard no, so no, you can't go there. No, those aren't good friends. No, you can't go to that party. No, you can't have the keys. So you've actually lived with resistance from all the people around you. It could be a teacher. No, you didn't get that answer right. No, you're not going to go to that event. No, you're not selected for that project. See how this begins to creep? Anybody not make a team in high school or college? Anybody go out? Oh, I like this. I'm apparently the only one who doesn't make a team. All right. So I went out for basketball and found out that most people who play basketball are twice the size of me. And in case anybody works at UCLA or UC Irvine, both of which schools I've taught at, and I continue to, I still have 4 years of eligibility left, just in case anybody's recruiting for basketball. Just saying. So I don't know about you, but I heard no a lot. I heard no, I heard you're not enough, you're not as good as. When I brought home a B, my parents said, did anybody get an A? So this resistance starts to become the fluid by which you move through life. Now, U.S. News and World Report recently asked me to write a column for them on failure. And I have 4.5 million followers around the world. They read my blog every Tuesday. I have 420 media outlets following me, covering me on business communication, personal branding, and marketing, consumer behavior as well. Right? So when U.S. News and World Report, a very esteemed publication, asked me to write an article on failure as an expert, I thought, how did you know I was an expert on failing? And really, do I want to be known for that? But in writing this article on failure, I found out that most of us fail quite a lot. And I found out the most interesting statistic on failing, which is simply another word, another way of expressing the word no and resistance, right? Failing. It takes the average smoker 7 times to quit finally smoking. So what does that mean? What that means is every time you fail to quit, you're one failure closer to success. So failure is not resistance. However, the greatest reservoir in your head, what I call your ocean of negativity, where your brain is floating in, your brain is attenuated, pays attention to when you fail, when people say no, when they don't take your call, when you didn't get the job, when you were the second best candidate. And what happens is that goes into through your interhinal canal, into your hippocampus, in your brain, right? And what do you think is in your hippocampus? Kind of a bunch of file cabinets. And it stores like things together. So every time you hear no, every time you face resistance, every time you fail, that file drawer gets heavier and heavier. You probably have several file cabinets filled up with no. You probably have much fewer files that have yes. Oh, we'd love to. Thank goodness we found you. You're the perfect candidate. You're our favorite child. I think my older sister heard that quite a bit. Right? So you have this reservoir, you have this platform, this depth of knowledge of yourself that is tainted, colored, depressed, pockmarked, beat up, kind of like a Star Wars stormtrooper, their uniforms. So you've been the target and you've been the recipient of a lot of negativity. And if you were not graced with a natural resilience or with a natural perseverance, you may have sold yourself short. You may find yourself today in a place that is further, much further than any goal you've ever set for yourself. And that does not reflect your potential, that failure. It does not reflect your effort. It does not reflect your authentic self. And yet, resistance defines most people. Resistance, rejection, being told that you do not feel the way you feel, that has in fact shaped silently all your choices. So, by the time we're done together today, you're going to have a method, what I think of as a technology or a protocol, for bouncing that no back to wherever no's belong. And a way for you to believe in yourself, be your authentic self, set goals that have true and deep and personal meaning for yourself. And I'm hoping, given the topic, that that involves several $1 million. Now, I know success is more than money, but I like business because the currency of business is currency. I am a marketer by training, and I think probably by nature. I like to keep score. Now, we know how your brain is currently keeping score. It has racked up a bunch of no's and rejections, and you were second and were sorry and you didn't get accepted, right? So we have to build up the yeses the successes, and we need to build them up in a measurable way. Because what you measure, you can manage. And the degree to which you can manage yourself turns out to be exactly the same degree that you have the capability to lead others. Lead others, lead them where? Well, there's really only one place you want to go. And it's where you really want where you want to go. I think that's Britney Spears, but someone told me it's the Spice Girls. What you want, what you really, really want. What you want, what you really, really want. Let's all say that. What I want, what I really, really want. What I want, what I really, really want. That's what I want, what I really, really want. All right? Now, how many of us have actually answered that question? What do I want? What do I really, really want? This is pretty typical, right? Very few of us have asked the question, what do I want? What do I really, really want? And in large part, you don't ask the question because you have this great big ocean of negativity that your brain is floating around in, like the ocean where there's toxic material and there's old beer cans and, I don't know, all kinds of things, right? All kinds of flotsam and jetsam. And so you have stopped encouraging yourself. You have stopped setting destinations where you want to go. And yet every day you open the door of your home and you go outside. You are on some kind of journey, but without a destination. At least a destination of your choice. My goal today, my outcome in mind for you, is for you to identify what you want, what you really, really want, and then put you to sleep. Well, not exactly as quickly as that may happen, but I want you simply to answer for yourself. Once again, I'm a metrics person. I was a statistician for the State of California Department of Mental Health before I went into advertising and marketing. So I'm not diagnosing anybody, I'm just saying, okay? But I want you to answer this question. How do you want to earn your next $1 million? Then I want you to answer the question, how many times do you want to make $1 million? And then I want you to answer the question, what are you going to do with all that money? So let's pretend that we know each other really well. That you trust me, and you like me, and you care about me. And I trust you, and I care about you, and I like you. So you know TLC? You know, in America, we use that idiom. I'm used to speaking to international audiences where that's not a common idiom, or an acronym. TLC means tender, loving care. Okay, not in business. It means trust, like, and care. That's what you need from those people that you are leading toward the outcome that you desire. So if we pretend that I know, like, and care about you, and that you trust, like, and care about me, I trust, like, and care about you. Let's say tomorrow you take my phone call. I call you up and I say, hey, I have this amazing opportunity for you. What would I be talking about? Not an amazing opportunity for me. But what's an amazing opportunity for you? How many people have it right now? One person. That's better, two people. Better odds than I normally get. This is, by the way, why I don't particularly like to gamble. Because just asking an audience something live is a good enough gamble for me. Right? So two of us know what we want, what we really, really want. Two of us are ready to say yes to the perfect opportunity that earns you your next $1 million and as many $1 million as you care to accumulate. In my lifetime, and I'm really old, I'm 60, so I've had the opportunity to collect lots of millions. You're supposed to go, oh, how can that possibly be? She still walks. Okay, sorry. She manages to get around. Right? So the problem is that most of us don't know the destination, but we take to the open road, we leave our homes, and we can't really get anywhere fast until we have that destination. So where is the next $1 million? And not even where is it that I have to go, like do I have to go someplace I don't want to go? No, I want you to go where you want to go. The secret to personal branding, multi-million-dollar successful branding, the kind of branding that I've done, is that it takes very little effort. So my house is paid off in Bel Air. My cars and trucks are paid off because I got that old-fashioned mentality. When everybody in California was using their house as an ATM, I said to myself, I don't even know how to use an ATM, a real ATM. So I think I'll just write a check and pay off this house in Bel Air. And then I know I own it. Right? So you've got to have in mind the ideal outcome for you. And it has to be two things. It has to be sticky, God bless you, sticky and juicy. So what I mean by sticky is it has to remain in your brain. It has to be so juicy, so emotionally activating, that it floats to the top of this ocean of negativity. It has to be so delicious, like the most delicious strawberry you've ever had. Because what multi-million-dollar personal brands do is we activate, without any effort at all, we activate our selective attention. So if you've ever thought about purchasing a car, like I'm interested, oddly enough, in a Lagonda and a Mini Cooper. And you don't see a lot of Lagondas. But once I decided I really love those little Mini Coopers, I'm driving a Mercedes sports car right now, and it's no fun to drive whatsoever. The word sports car is a misnomer when it comes to Mercedes. That's all I'm saying. Right? So I said to myself, geez, I really love those little Mini Coopers. And then you know what I saw on every road that I was on? Mini Coopers. Here's a Mini Cooper, there's a Mini Cooper, everywhere you go there's a Mini Cooper. Right? Now, did they just suddenly appear? No, they've always been there. But they appeared to me at that moment, and then some, because I selectively decided to put my attention toward it. And then my brain, like your brain, does the rest of the work. It brings Mini Coopers to me, to my attention. So why Mini Coopers? Why is that example important? Because, first of all, you can see Mini Coopers, and you can use this. So tomorrow, your roads are going to be filled with Mini Coopers. I'm sorry. You might want to erase that and pick a car of your choice. It's the same reason why you need to have a definitive, crisp, clear, compelling, sticky, juicy, outcome in mind, destination in mind, how you want to earn your next $1 million. Because when you put your selective attention to work, it is no work at all for you. It's just an assignment you're giving your brain. So before you go to bed tonight, make yourself a promise that you're going to write down that if I called you and I said, I have an amazing opportunity for you, you would know exactly what I was talking about. And it would be all about you. All about what you want, what you really, really want. Unedited and pure. I call it like liquid crystal. No, not meth. Like liquid crystal deliciousness. So that's your first assignment. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Tell yourself what you want, what you really, really want. Identify the destination for this journey that you're on. And then close your eyes and go to sleep. Not right now, but close your eyes and go to sleep. Because it's then that your brain does its work, right? We now know from neuroscience a couple of very important things. And the first is, no matter how old you are, and I may be the oldest person here, but no matter how old you are, George Clooney looks older than I am, and he's younger than I am. I mean, it's just crazy. Okay. No matter how old you are, you still have neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity? Just what I wanted for my birthday. No. Okay. Neuroplasticity means you're still capable of grooving new grooves and new pathways in your brain. We didn't know that 5 years ago. But in the field of personal intelligence, which has been largely pioneered in the UC system, in the field of personal intelligence, we now know that when you ideate, when you select what you want to attend to, your brain goes into your hippocampus. It finds everything associated with that goal. Every person, every action, every work sample, anything that could possibly match. And it takes all those things for you and collects them. And that's how you get easily what you want, and even more importantly, that it is authentically what you want. Now, when I was at Coke, I was a marketer and we were in 190 countries around the world. Corporate branding is absolutely nothing like personal branding. You can't look at a can of Coke and say, what do you want? What do you really, really want? You actually, and I like this in getting my MBA because we had to study manufacturing, although nobody would trust me with their manufacturing floor. But I like this. I like the idea that I could manufacture brands and brand images and brand messages for this thing, this asset, this cup of Coke. Do you know how I do it? I take all of Coke's competitors, or all of Volvo's competitors, or all of Disneyland's competitors. I put them in this technical thing called the cone of competition. And then I put all the competition up on a war wall, and I see what is already there, and I identify what the audience is missing, and I assign those values and aspirations to the can of Coke, or to the car, or to the camera, or to anything that anybody puts in front of me. I cannot do that for you. Because as a personal brand, what you want needs to come from a very authentic place. I never, ever want to turn myself inside out to get a job. I never want you to turn yourself inside out to get a loan, to get an investment, to get a job, to create a business. The idea of personal branding is clarity on what it is you want, your brain mapping out the destination, and then you are entering every conversation, presentation, and meeting with your outcome in mind. And you have an outcome in mind for every single person in your life. It's called a relationship outcome. Now, you can't do this at home, by the way. I'm showing you stuff. It's not tricks and tips, but I am showing you things that create leadership. It's called communication leadership. So if you use this stuff at home, no one else is ever going to have a topping on the pizza that they want. So be judicious and kind. This is how, being outcome-minded, this is how you reach what you want once you've decided what that is. Now, this flies in the face of everything you may have ever been told. But you know, life as a grown-up is very different than life before grown-uphood. I don't know if this happened in your family, but it happened in mine. My mother and father told me, and by the way, my father was a milkman, my mother was a homemaker. We lived on $400 a month in the San Fernando Valley. So if there wasn't a place called nowhere, I'd have nowhere to be from. And we had to borrow money for the nickel dues. But my parents said something that they thought would keep me safe. Maybe you heard the same thing. They said, don't talk to strangers. How many people have been told, don't talk to strangers? Right. Okay, then you go into business, and what do you got to do? Talk to strangers. Hold it, your brain says, in your big ocean of negativity. You're not supposed to talk to strangers. Okay, so then how does our grown-up brain interpret that? Our grown-up brain interprets that as, ooh, networking events are very uncomfortable and scary. You know why? They're filled with strangers. After all, they call it network, not net play. I played a little tennis. I know net play. Not really well, but I know a little. So there's a lot of things that are floating around in your ocean of negativity, some which were given to you to protect you. And here's another one that's hobbling you, that's holding you back. And that is, I just saw somebody I knew. Hello to you, I'm so glad to see you. And that is, so let me roll this for tape. So there's another aspect of life that your parents probably, and perhaps teachers and other kinds of educators, maybe coaches, told you. And that is, you should always have an open mind. Wow. Put that right in the ocean of negativity. Can you imagine having an open wound and walking into a jungle? You know what crawls in? Imagine the infection and the dirt and the grime. Well, if you go into a meeting with an open mind, can you imagine what crawls in? Everybody else's outcomes. And that's how you get trapped. And that's how you get led instead of leading. And you don't have to be the speaker at a meeting, and you don't have to initiate the conversation. You simply have to go into every interaction with your outcome in mind. And not the big, giant, oh my gosh, wheel of wonderfulness, not the big ultimate outcome, but your proximate outcome. And all that takes is this. Before you have the conversation, before you pick up the phone, before you walk into the room. Ask yourself, what do I want to see my audience do by the end of the time that we're together? Not what do I want to do. What do I need to say? And this is what your brain will be doing for you. What do I need to say so that my audience acts exactly the way I want them to? So just when I met you today, I said, would everyone please text me or email me this information? Because I have an outcome in mind. I want to transform you from where you are to where you want to be. And I want to complement our time together as a group with some time together one-on-one so that I know I've reached my outcome. So in this meeting, I'm already planning the link to our next meeting. Not to trick you, not to trip you, simply to guarantee myself that I have moved you forward. Because part of my personal brand, and I do that because it's a personal brand triad, part of my personal brand is being encouraging, authentically encouraging. And I'm going to give you the secret, super amazing worksheets, and that's what you're going to get from me, on creating the 3 aspects of your own personal brand. So all I'm doing with you today is being authentic. All I'm doing today is activating the person that I am in the interest of my audience. And if I do that, I know that the rule of reciprocity will kick in. Cialdini and the University of Arizona or Arizona State has documented that in survey and science report after science report. And the rule of reciprocity is this. It's best described by a teeter-totter. Do you know what I mean by teeter-totter? That terrible thing that if you're the fat kid, you're like on the bottom? I was that kid. Okay. Anyway, the rule of reciprocity is that human nature wants to equalize things. So I want to load up what I'm giving you so that if I need you, I can reach out to you. I don't know that I'll need you, but I do know that the more strangers I talk to, the better my life is, the better my income is, and the more reliably I can plan for success. For the last 7 years, there has not been a single day when a complete stranger has not reached out to me and offered to pay me well for something that I want to do. 7 days a week over 7 years since my book came out. And they did this solely on the basis of one thing. I know my personal brand, and when I talk to people, or I post, or I comment from my authentic self. Don't you want to know your authentic self? Because you will never be paid more or more easily when you are paid to be you. That is the essence, the purpose, the mission of becoming a personal brand. A personal brand is a little different than a reputation. A reputation is what people say about you when you leave the room. So in my extended family, we kind of have a silent rule, kind of a agreed upon ad hoc rule, that each person who leaves a family gathering becomes the topic of our conversation for those of us who remain. That's a reputation. I want you to proactively discuss, explore, expose, share who you really are and what you really want. And I want that outcome to be in your mind all the time. So getting to know you is the first step in personal branding. Everybody's personal brand has 3 aspects, and this is going to be the worksheet that I give you. The bottom of the pyramid is something you've always been. If we asked your parents or your classmates or your teachers or friends and other family members, they might say, oh, Charette is always what? Truth and justice. And I know that because you're my friend. Truth and justice. You want an honest answer and you want something done fairly, it's you. Right? Me, not so much. Mine is smart, which is different than intelligent. But I was 16, I was at the time the youngest person ever to attend UCLA. I not only attended UCLA at 16, now they have like kids that are 9, but then it was something. But I attended UCLA at 16 when I didn't have a high school diploma, when my parents couldn't afford to support me, when I had no housing, when I had no money. So being smart has been really helpful. But being naive, it's my shadow triad, the things that I wish I weren't, but I am. But being naive, which is smart's evil twin, also moved me forward. I didn't know at 16 how you got a job. I didn't know the right way and I didn't know the wrong way. My father was a milkman, my mother was a homemaker. So when I drove by places that I thought the sign looked fabulous, and the building looked great and the parking lot was full, I went in and I saw the human resources person. And I said, it just looks like a wonderful place to work. Your parking lot is full. What is it that you do here? And they would say, wow, person from another planet, welcome to Earth. And they would tell me what they did. And then I would tell them what I could do. So for example, I've been working full-time since I've been 14 years old. During the day, I went to school with kids, and during the evening, I went to adult school. I went to school with their parents. And I learned medical terminology, and I typed 35 words a minute. Not so fast for those of you who know that no typing. But good enough to handle medical records, good enough to handle insurance billing. So when I went to school, I found 3 jobs that I could do and attend school. One of them was working in the emergency room between 11 o'clock at night and 7 a.m. in the morning, which is also an excellent time to do your homework and be paid for it. Because only occasionally at UCLA does someone come in with a gunshot wound. This kind of depends on where the hospital is that you want to work for, I guess. Right? So I did that, and every week I wrote my grandma a letter. She was in New York. And you know what came back with her letter? $1. I even wrote my grandma for money. I mean, I never wrote, Grandma, send me money. But I wrote, Grandma, how are you? I'm studying. It's hard. How are things in New York? We can't wait to see you. But come back with $1. Right? So I worked from 11 to 7 in the morning, and then I went to school. Then after school, I worked as a psychiatric tech. Working as a psychiatric tech meant that I put a lot of people who were crazy on a bus and took them to the Getty Villa. Because when you're 16, you don't have very good judgment. And then I got paid to take class notes. So I was literally paid to take notes, because I take shorthand, to take notes, and a company sold all those notes. So I paid my tuition, I paid my books, I paid my living.
When did you sleep?
And I really didn't much. I also missed a lot of football games. I missed a lot of fun that there is in college. So when I had my daughter 30 years ago, I was 30 when I had her, and I had already had a career and I'd already made money. And I said to her, Molly Jo, when you go to school, and Molly's a sportscaster in horse racing, I said to her, Molly Jo, I would really like you not to work. Mommy has saved up money so you don't have to work. And she said, but I love work and I hate school. And I said, God is a practical joker. So she really went, she could have gone to UCLA for free because I taught, but she went to the University of Louisville, which cost me $35,000 just for tuition, not for the maid I sent to keep her room clean, because that skill I didn't teach her. Right? And really why she wanted to go to the University of Louisville, yes, they had a horse racing administration program, which is bossing horses around, but it was next door to Churchill Downs. So at 5 o'clock in the morning, my daughter was like, I got a horse ride here, his name is Paul Revere. She was clocking horses. Right? So you don't always get what you expect. So my experience is that you want to know what you want and you want to take responsibility, and then you only need two things to succeed. The success equation is this: action plus interaction equals success. Action plus interaction equals success. And who are you going to interact with? Your audience. So when you see your world as an audience, not as strangers, but as an audience, and you know what you want, and you come to us with your outcome in mind, that you can lead us toward the outcome you desire and be authentically who you are and live your life with abundance and also with mastery and joy. And I believe we are about to take questions. And I'm going to put some people in a hot seat if you'd like to be. And I'll do some live coaching like I do on television. Now, when we first came together, I promised you would have ideas for the roadmap and ideas for your personal brand and some tools. You now know how to train your brain. You know to put in your brain what you want, what you really, really want. You now know that strangers are really your audience. And you know that there's only two things you need to do: take action and have interactions with your outcome in mind. That's as simple as it is. Now, beyond the time that we have together, I want to give you, as I've said, an added, hopefully, really extra added value, which is a one-on-one session with me to really help you use this and other materials that I'm going to be sending to you, my gift. So please make sure that you, I think it's called whitelisting me, that you, Nance@nancerosen.com exists on your contacts so that my emails can get to you and we can continue to move toward the relationship outcome that I have for you. And should we get started on our hot seat? So we need some brave people.
Thank you for that presentation. Thank you very much. I remember you saying, as far as being the favorite child, you had to. By the way, I think I was the favorite child in my family. I think also me because I was the only child.
Oh, yeah!
There could be a correlation there.
There is, you know, I have to say, we call you people T-O-N-O.
T-O-N-O.
The one and only.
Yes, yes, yes.
All astronauts and all presidents of the United States, but 3, have been either T-O-N-Os or first children. That says a lot for the rest of us, just saying.
That also tells me I've got a lot of work to do. Yeah, I'm not a person or just trying to. Anyways, so we can, I guess, start the Q&A session. Maybe have some questions.
So who needs to make a transformation? Who is in one place and wants to be in another? Talk to me. You tell us your name, sweetheart. Farrah. Do you know I drove here alone because I've been speaking with those people? Raise your hand, my people. I've been speaking with those people for a week. That's my hot hashtag team. And I drove alone so I would have voice for you. So you just whisper for us.
Okay, good. Yes, I need transformation.
You need transformation. What exactly, where, and this, I want you to use this as a worked example. I want you to think or write down or in some way document, put into your phone, where you are now. You know, like in your map program where it does that, right? Where are you now? And then in that second line where it says on the map program, you know, kind of where you want to go. I don't think it uses where you want to go, but that's what it means, right? So where are you now? What's your current place? How would you describe it for us?
I don't know where I am, but I'm basically, you know, I feel like I'm serving my family, that's all.
Got it. So let me, so good. So you, a poor person, has it. So you feel like you're serving your family, and that's kind of it. That's where you are. Okay, so here's a really important word, and you're a gift. May I use you as a worked example? Okay. So, you sure? Okay. All right. All right. So, business is a thinking business. It's not a feeling business. So right away, when you say, I feel like I'm serving my family, that means you're not really sure, and you have an abundance of emotions surrounding that. Family is a pretty loaded word. You have two kinds of emotions. You have weaponized emotions, anger, sadness, discontent, boredom, and you have transcendent emotions, mastery, joy, courage, adventure. So where are you on the feeling my family?
Well, I don't have that adventures.
So you don't feel adventurous?
No.
Okay. Do you feel discontent?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And where do you want to go?
Well, I feel like I need to go back.
No, don't stop feeling. We have to stop feeling. Women suffer from an abundance of feelings. Like I have to say, this may sound like I'm a turncoat, but I do think that most women are really crazy. Okay, so, and I'm one of those women, so I can say that because it's my people. Okay, all right. So tell me what you think. Don't tell me what you feel. Where do you think you want to go?
To where my dreams come true.
To where your dreams come true, right? I saw that on a building just a couple minutes ago. Did anybody see the building that says where your dreams come true? No, you didn't see that. I didn't see that either. It was a little dark. I could be wrong. Okay. All right? So there's no place where your dreams come true. There's literally no place. Like you can't type that into your mapping program. So where is it? What is it that you want to be doing? Think about this. What is it that makes up your ideal day? What is it that makes up your ideal day? I've had people break down and be totally honest with me, and it's like, on a yacht with someone feeding me. Floating around, and here was the worst part, playing board games. I'm like, board games? What is with the wet and the water and all that? Really, board games? Not that I want to discourage you from having your dream life. Pick something better than board games. Okay, I already played Monopoly. Okay, so where do you want to go? What do you want to do?
Well, I just want to get out of my daily duties and do what I really want to do.
And that is what?
That is to do things for myself, like for my work, for my career, to do.
What is that exactly? Okay, so what most people are missing, you're seeing me get more and more aggressive into you, right? What most people are missing are specifics. So everybody do this for me. Everybody do this. This is dialing things in. This man is not doing it for any reason, love or money. Thank you, thank you, thank you, okay? So what we know, the reason that I have you do this is authentic learning with adults where you're grooving in new pathways demands physical activity. Right? Let me do something with you, by the way, so that I don't forget. I don't want to leave you without this. So hang on for 1 second, sweetheart. Okay? There's 3 things that you need in order to successfully get where you want to go. And this will tell you what you're missing as well. You need 3 things. You need inner wisdom, the ability to rely on yourself. You need self-acceptance, the real belief that who you are is enough. And you need clear-eyed optimism. So can everybody do that gesture, those gestures? Inner wisdom, self-acceptance, and clear-eyed optimism. Got it? And I do this every morning before I leave the house, right? Inner wisdom, I connect with my self-knowledge. I then approve and accept of myself. And then I look out on the world. Right? And it sounds like you haven't gotten a chance to do that work, right? So I'm going to be sending you worksheets because you've got a real amorphous problem. So how many of us are not sure what we want? Okay, great. That's super. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Now, the reason that you're not sure about what you want is you've created what we call a stall. You ever have 2 magnets and they don't go together because of that pole thing that I don't understand because I didn't take physics? Okay, that, right? So you're in a stall. And the reason you get put in a stall is because you know what you want, you just won't accept it. So the first person that I can help you get right with is yourself. And a stall oftentimes sounds like this. If I just had business cards, I'd be able to do it. You know what I need? I need a really great, highly functional website. You know that's something that I really need? I need a brand new copier. So if you need one more thing before you get on the journey, you're in a stall. And that means you have to cleanse that ocean of negativity. You have to sit with yourself and let those thoughts bubble up and those memories bubble up, and then provide yourself evidence of why those things are no longer true. The only thing I have not been able to convince myself about is that I'm taller than I really am. Hence, a lack of basketball scholarship. Right? So we all have a wide breadth. And the big problem that most people have is they don't want to put, what, sweetheart? Oh, thank you, sweetheart, thank you. The big problem people have is they don't want to put a stake in the ground. So being commitment phobic means you're afraid to get, you're loath to get specific with yourself. And do you know why? Because your brain is going, oh my God, if I do that, think of what I'm not doing. So as one of my partners says to me, the only answer to that is get over yourself. Life is long. You're going to have between 5 and 9 careers, not jobs. 5 to 9 careers in your life. So you're not always going to be a respiratory therapist or a nurse. Whatever gave you laryngitis is going to go away, but you're going to get something else. Right? Life is long. And so that's really it for you. Put a stake in the ground. So if I called you up and I said, I have an amazing opportunity for you, Farah, what would it be? Okay, so go ahead, send me an email with that, and that'll be the basis of our interaction. And that's true for anyone. And I guess I'm getting this mic back. All right. So not really moving her forward, but nonetheless, at least a little bit. Yes, sir, or are you just touching things, your hair or whatever? Who else would like to ask me a question, tell me the truth, move themselves forward? Brave souls. I guess we're good. Oh, there we go. Going once. You're my favorite person right now. Hold it. Someone more athletic than I am is going to be running, go, young man. In my life, that looks like running.
My name is Omar. So you said we should regard people not as strangers, but your audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you overcome the anxiety of everyone looking at you just as they are? Right now, to me.
Oh, I mean, like right now or like with you?
Yeah, like,
Oh my gosh, okay, perfect. So there's two remedies to audience anxieties. And the first one is that you need to be kind to your audience. So ever since I was lucky enough when you called me and you asked me to come on this day, I've been thinking about you. And I've been thinking about, with everything that I talk about and everything that I can do, I've been thinking about what would be the kindest thing I could do for you on a Saturday night when you probably would normally be, I don't know, taking your best girl or best guy to a movie or having some other entertainment, right? So the act of kindness, that's when you appear with kindness. There's a piece of film that I'm talking about on the internet. It's one of my least favorite interviews, but it's one of my most brutally honest interviews. And that is, never do business with somebody that you don't love. You must love the other person. You must come with kindness. You must come with compassion. You must come with empathy. There is never a situation, and I've spoken to hundreds of thousands of people around the world, 36,000 people at a CEO summit in Hong Kong, and I've never had a moment of anxiety because it's never about me. It's always about moving the audience forward, right? So if I were a gift, I would be excited that you were going to open me, but I wouldn't be nervous. The second part of that equation is take responsibility for the people that you're with. Take responsibility for your audience. When I had Molly Jo, and she was sitting in the other side of the car, when I stopped short, anybody have a kid or an elderly person sit on the second seat? That's right, right? And when you stop short, what do? You put out your arm to protect them. So your job in front of people is to be kind and responsible for them. With that much, like a surgeon going into, an operating room, that responsibility stops him or her from being nervous because he or she believes they're saving a limb or maybe even saving a life. And that's how I approach this.
thank you.
You're welcome.